We're here at Stamford Bridge with former Chelsea, Blackburn Rovers Southampton England left-back Graeme Le Saux. Welcome to SportsvibeTV.
Thank you.
So you're here as Chelsea's ambassador to the Women's Champions League final. What can you tell us a bit about your role and what it's like for Chelsea to be hosting that kind of game?
Well, I think firstly, anybody's role in terms of working around the Women's Champions League final is about promoting the final, 23rd of May. Ticket prices £10 for adults, £5 for children. So we want people to come to watch the women's final because they'll be amazed at the standard. The perception of maybe the women's game is very different to the reality. I've been to a few of the women's finals over the last few years, and the standard of the game is phenomenal. And I think when you look at Europe, France and Germany in particular, the quality of the women's game is excellent. And we've got an improving and emerging sort of higher standard here in England as well. And Chelsea are part of the Women's Super League. Arsenal obviously doing very well as well. So I think it really is a case of promoting the women's game, and that's why UEFA have tied it in with the men's final and have done for the last few years.
And so which teams do you say are the ones to look out for?
Well, Arsenal beat Potsdam in the last round. Potsdam were in the final 2 years ago when it was held in England as well. And Lyon are the team that everybody needs to beat because they've won it in the last two seasons. They've got a fantastic side, good development programme as well. And I think really it's for all of us to look at sort of women's football and from grassroots all the way up in the same way we look at men's football and give young girls the opportunity to aspire to be the best they can be through supporting the game, and the Women's Champions League final is the pinnacle of that. And from our point of view as a football club, we're delighted and honoured to be hosting it this year.
Now, just moving on to a bit about your career and the clubs you were involved in. Obviously, the three teams are involved in managerial changes at the moment and have been over the last few months. How do you think that's affected the teams, and what do you think? What's your view on how the managers have been treated? Well,
here at Chelsea, obviously Rafa is the interim manager. He saw it as a great opportunity to take the reins, and what he can achieve with the team on the pitch in terms of winning matches will dictate how people view him. Our away form, here has been very good. Our home form, I think, partly because of the way teams play against us, has been a bit inconsistent. But we're still fighting, on two fronts certainly. And we'll continue to try and do the best we can in the Premier League. I think as a player, the mentality you always take is that winning mentality that if we win our games, we can always put teams higher up the league under pressure. With regards to Blackburn, obviously that's been an ongoing situation since for quite some time now. And again, the club are looking for some stability there in terms of getting the team back into the Premier League.
What do you think it will take to get back to the big time?
Well, they're not far off in terms of the team. They've got a decent team. Obviously it didn't work out with Henning, unfortunately, but they've still got a realistic chance of getting into the playoffs. But they need to make their move pretty soon. They need to get a run of games that can give them that opportunity. And then if they do get into the playoffs and gain promotion, then the picture changes again, because suddenly they have an opportunity to put in some, get in some players and put some investment into the team. So it's all about trying to create sort of a consistent run for the team. And as you say, finally Southampton, with their new manager.
How surprised were you?
I think everybody was surprised because Nigel had weathered the storm in terms of what was going on the pitch. The team were doing well, but before Christmas they were poor, and whether or not the process had begun then, I presume it had. That actually, when the decision was made, it was a surprise to most people. But watching the team yesterday, I thought they played very well against a strong Everton side.
And see, the new manager Pochettino has had a history of taking Espanyol higher up the league. Do you think he'll be able to come in and do the right job to keep them up?
Well, if I'm honest, I don't know him that well as a manager, and he did well with the Espanyol side in the early seasons that he was there. He has a reputation for developing young players, so his philosophy sounds like it fits in with that of Southampton. And Southampton aren't a club necessarily that have changed their ways over the years. They've got a good youth development policy. fantastic set of fans, good, well-run club, and I'm pleased now that they seem to be in a position where they've regained some momentum and they look like they're highly likely to stay up this season, which is great news.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cheers.